Hello and welcome to today's Facecast. We are in the New Testament, in a letter right near the end of the New Testament. It's a letter by John to the churches that he has visited and is set up and is looking after. Now, a while after Jesus had conducted his ministry, while the churches were growing and they didn't necessarily have a leader, didn't have an apostle with them, it was likely, and indeed it did happen, that error got into the life of the church, into its teaching and its way of life. It's understandable, really. If you leave people alone long enough, they'll eventually start to regress back to the way they had before they discovered this new Christian life. And so John is concerned to teach them about living the right way and to teach them how to live the Jesus way. One of the problems that he encountered was that people thought that the way they lived was good and right, whatever they did. And they didn't really want to pay attention to any sense of being right in God's eyes. So it's a question of righteousness and unrighteousness. A question of sin or no sin. That is, whether we should do things that are wrong and know it and admit to it or not. So they had this moral dilemma going on in the church. And John writes to them. And he says something which is read very often in churches today. This is 1 John, in other words, the first letter of John, 1 John chapter 1, verse 8 and 9. If we claim to be without sin, we deceive ourselves and the truth is not in us. If we confess our sins, he is faithful and just and will forgive us our sins and purify us from all unrighteousness. So there it is is that a nutshell? 2 verses? Don't know. But there it is in a plain, straightforward speak. If we claim to be without sin, that is without doing, thinking and saying things that are wrong, if we claim that, then we're kidding ourselves, because we all do things that are wrong from time to time. We cheat other people, we abuse other people, even if we're talking badly about them. We are just not always the people we think we ought to be and should be and want to be. We deceive ourselves if we think we're without sin. And the truth is not in us. If we deceive ourselves, how untruthful is that? It's all very well somebody else deceiving you, but if you deceive yourself, if you say to yourself, no, I'm a good person, I'm right and moral and upright. There's nothing wrong with me. I haven't killed anybody this week. I'm a good person. Well, look again. Just how did you treat that person, or what attitude did you have to that other person? We must have truth within us. If we confess our sins, that is, if we say on a regular basis, maybe daily or weekly or monthly or annually, whatever is our tradition or whatever is right for us, if we say, look, Lord, I know I'm not perfect. I've done this and I've said that and I've had this attitude towards that person. I know I'm not perfect and I'm sorry about that. But please help me to live the way that you want me to live. If we confess our sins, he is faithful and just. Well, that's what he wants us to do, because then he can be in relation with us. He can have an ongoing, loving, working relationship with us if we are truthful with him. He will forgive us our sins and purify us from all unrighteousness. He doesn't hold it against us, no matter what we've done, no matter what we may have said, no matter what we may have thought. He doesn't hold it against us. He will willingly forgive it and wipe it clean and let us start again. Purify us from all unrighteousness. It's something we need to do on a regular basis in order to realize this relationship we have and to make the most of it. We have to do that with people around us, don't we? If we said a harsh word to our husband or wife, we know we should go to them and say, sorry, what I said was uncalled for and out of order, and I apologise. We know that if we do something wrong, we ought to go to the authority or the person or the organisation we've done something wrong with and to, and say, look, I did this and let me make it right by offering my sincere apologies. We know we should do that. If we're brave, we will do that. If we're cowardly, we won't. That itself is a sin, to be hiding something that we know we should be revealing. So there's all sorts of ways in which we can confess our sins, and all sorts of ways we ought to. It all boils down to this word that I realise more and more as I get older and older is so important in our lives and so necessary, and yet often so absent. The word is integrity. We are to have an integrity, being right within ourselves and not hiding away those things which we know we should deal with. Is there integrity in your life? Are there sins that you need to confess? Is there an attitude that you have that you need to bring out into the open and say sorry for? That's today's calling upon you and your life, me and my life too. See you soon.